Dear audience, welcome to the episode 7 of Thinking Psychologist. Till now, what we have seen is how our human mind is susceptible to our thoughts. Like Buddha said in one of our podcasts and one of the CEOs we were having discussion with, what we think, we become. And what we become is what we think all day long. So that is why it becomes really, really important to have the clarity of thoughts. And during our discussion with the clinical psychologist from Hong Kong as well as the head of designer from UK, it became very, very clear that we as human beings are not able to look at our thoughts very clearly. And that is where the mindfulness meditation comes in really, really handy. Continuing with today's discussion, we have a really, really interesting guest on the show today. Her name is Anne. She is from America, and she has a very interesting take to understanding the human mind, calming it down. So, before further ado, we would like to welcome Anne on the show, and as well as we would like to know a little bit more about you, Anne. What has been your journey, who you are, and before we start the conversation, welcome to the show, Anne.
Thank you so much. It is such an honor to be here.
Great.
So,
And yes,
go
please,
ahead.
yeah. No. I just wanted to, audience would like to know something about you, who you
Okay.
are, what's been your journey, what brings you to Bliss Bowls, and what is Bliss Bowls all about?
Okay. Thank you very much. Blissful started with my background 25 years in the healing arts as a neuromuscular massage therapist and 30 years as a musician, a singer, songwriter, performer. And so when I was introduced to singing bowls, this was a great way to combine these two loves in my life and actually be able to help people through musical medicine, which is very powerful. So I began to use the singing bowls in sessions. By singing bowls, I mean metal bowls like this, and also the quartz crystal singing bowls, using them in bodywork sessions and massage sessions. And I had amazing success. Um, and this was because I did a little research because I didn't know why people were feeling so much better when you added these tools of transformation into a session. And the research that I came up with is that the singing bowls are a true wholeness package. They attack mind, body, and spirit, the whole package. So I read a little bit more, and there wasn't a lot out there when I first started with the singing bowls. So I kind of had to teach myself. But there were some books, and what I found out is that singing bowls speak the language of the brain, which is frequency. So it's been proven in science that sound and vibration from these instruments can turn busy beta brain waves into the alpha theta state, that alpha theta meditative state, very easily, just by listening to these big circles of sound. In addition, the bowls help stop the mind chatter, which is something we all wrangle with in terms of staying present. So the bowls stop the mind chatter, balance both sides of the brain, help people get in touch with their more creative side because they don't have that cyclical negativity just going around and around. So you can affect the mind. When you have a relaxed mind, the body will follow, which is good news for a body worker like myself. So, vibration from these instruments is what helps the body.
Heard you till the point where you said that the brain frequency matches with the sound which is coming out from the bowls, and we can start from there, please.
Okay, yes, indeed. So, the bowls produce big circles of sound, and the mind seeks to entrain or copy these circles of sound and slow down to that alpha theta meditative state, making singing bowls a natural meditative tool.
Mm-hmm.
Once the mind is slowed down to that meditative state, the body can then relax. So relax the mind, the body will follow. And these bodies are built for sound because we're primarily water. And vibration from the singing bowls travels through the water that makes up these bodies, sinking deep into the bones, into the muscles, into the organs, into the bone marrow, really harmonizing all the cells. So it's a mind body experience. And when you have a relaxed mind and a relaxed body, you have that perfect container to access something deeper, which is spirit, right? Or voice of
Yeah.
intuition, or true self, or wisdom, or God, or Buddha, or whatever it is for you. Mind, body, spirit. And and that's what makes these such phenomenal tools for transformation. In my line of work, they were therapeutic tools to help the body and the mind, but also in meditation, they are extremely helpful in helping people meditate, making it easy, fast, and fun, basically. So,
Like,
does that help?
little bit of being a little bit of a novice over here, you know, what difference does it make from using an app for the sound and having a ball in the hand and making that sound? How does that work? Because it's just the sound, right?
Well, no, the bowl is both sound and vibration. So as you
Mm-hmm.
hold the singing bowl and you play your singing bowl by singing it or tapping it, you're receiving vibration that's traveling through the arm into the heart, keeping you present in this present moment, as well as the circles of sound that come from the bowl. So it's both mind and body coming together into the present moment. I think that's what makes these amazing tools, and makes meditation so much easier. The simplest meditation in the whole world is just tap the singing bowl and follow the sound into silence, and you're there. You're present, you're focused, and the mind is not chattering or making a grocery list or anything else. It's totally present. So this becomes an amazing tool to, like a vehicle to get you into that meditative state for both mind and body. Does that make
So
sense?
you very much truly makes sense, because I know, my mind, shuffling between past and future, like a racehorse, even faster than a race or a speed of light, I can say. So the thing that I wanted to ask over here is the point that I missed is that, yeah. So is there a scientific evidence to support this fact, or has is there a certain particular religion or spirituality attached to it? How does that work?
Well, there is some science behind the power of sound in general to heal. There have been some studies on like cancer cells and how they vibrate at a slower rate, at a lower frequency. And when cancer cells get around a higher frequency, you can change that vibration to that of a more normal cell. So that's kind of exciting information. Also, there's been studies done especially around the gong bath, where blood was taken from people before a gong sound meditation and then after. And what they discovered is that the red blood cells pushed their toxins out into the interstitial fluid, making a gong bath a, a very detoxifying experience, basically. And the body having so much water in it, water and sound, very healing. Have you heard of Dr. Oz?
Dr. Oz, yes, yeah, yes, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
well, Dr. Oz went as far as to say that sound is the medicine of the future. And so I think a lot of authorities are turning to this idea of sound, like ultrasound is
Mm-hmm.
used to help the body. Um, Sound waves are used to build bone, activating the osteoblasts and osteoclasts. They'll start to use vibration for broken bones now. Um, if you simply invert a bowl on your head, here, I'll do that so everyone can laugh at me for just a minute. Look at that. If you take a 10-inch bowl or bigger and gong it, it's going to do lots of physiological things for you. It's not just a funny looking thing. First of all, it takes the bony structure of the body, the cranium, and
Mm-hmm.
sends vibration all the way down the spine. Vibration loves to travel through the bony structure of the body. Second of all, the vagus nerve, as you probably know a lot about the vagus nerve, exits the brain and innervates the biggest organs of the body. So you're sending a lovely dose of vibration, healing vibration into those big organs and calming the vagus nerve. And third, the pituitary and the pineal, they're right underneath all that big vibration and sound. And so you're offering those master glands an opportunity to normalize through sound and vibration. So bowl on the head may look funny, but there are lots of physiological things that are going on when you introduce sound and vibration from singing bowls into this form.
Wow, that's really some fantastic information that I never had. But have you just a query here? Have you ever been to an Indian temple, or or to a temple? Because what happens over there is once you're entering those temples, there's a bell that everyone has to ring, and similar to what you said, the single bowls, the sound as well as the vibration, both you can feel it. Now that I am trying to relate it there, it totally makes sense that the our older religions had already figured it out, the power of sound, and it is us who are now slowly getting into that stream and trying to understand this. So
Absolutely.
originally, yeah, yes, please, yeah.
To that you just painted that beautiful picture of the temple. Um, Another thing that sound making instruments do, I like to think of when they create sound, like the gong here, when it makes the big gong sound, that you can actually bring your intention or your prayer with you to a gong bath or to the sound of the bell, and then visualize that intention floating out into the universe for manifestation. We're riding on these waves of resonance out into the higher power, where the higher power knows what to do with concerns or a release or the intention for someone else. So, sound is also that kind of vehicle for your intention, for your prayers. So, I just
True.
wanted to mention that.
Yeah, sure. And interesting. What are the origins of this particular singing bowls thing which is coming from? What are the origins? Where have they originated? And how did you get in touch with this and sort of become a practitioner? Because recently I saw over your Facebook post as well. There are a lot of people around Russia and other even in Indonesia trying to learn from you. Where is this coming from?
Well, that's coming from the Udemy classes, of course. Did you want me to go into that first, or how I got, or how
How did you get and what are the origins of this sound thing?
the origins of the singing bowl? Like
Yes, please.
these are called Himalayan singing bowls or Tibetan singing bowls. They're created in the Himalayan regions of Tibet, where they gather earth elements and then melt those elements, those metals over fire, pour it into a general shape, and then painstakingly hand hammer each bowl. You can feel the hand hammer marks on the bottoms of these bowls, making them one of a kind. There's only one made. There's also machine made bowls that you can buy, but I love the hand hammered bowls because they have layers and layers and layers of tone and sound that come out of them, making them fascinating to the brain. So the brain hears these many layers. It's not just the sound of one pitch and then it's gone. These reverberate for a long, long time. So that's kind of where these come from. I know India makes plenty of singing bowls and beautiful ornate drawings and etchings on bowls. There are just lots of different bowls out there. There isn't a bad bowl, okay? You can go on you can go on Amazon right now and buy one of these for 35 bucks. And that's great. And you can use it in meditation, follow the sound into silence. Um, but if you want something a little more ornate with layers of sound that you're going to have for the rest of your life, then you might want to invest in a good quality hand hammered singing bowl.
So,
So,
and basically, then if what you're suggesting is a person takes a single ball, buys on Amazon, and starts playing it and gets that therapeutic feel. Uh, I'm curious, what do you teach? You know, do you teach how to play them, or do you teach how to get most out of it? What do you teach?
um, I teach lots of stuff because the bowls have a lot to offer. but I teach how to play, and basically, there's three ways to play. You can sing the singing bowl with a mallet like this, you can gong it with a tool like this, or you can just tap it, making the singing bowl an instrument that anyone can play from age 2 to 102. You can put a singing bowl in anyone's hand and hand them a mallet like this, and they'll know what to do with it. They'll hit the bowl and they'll be able to immediately feel the vibration going through their hand. They'll hear that beautiful sound, and every time a smile comes across the face. And that's one of the reasons for the name bliss bowls, because these really do bring the bliss into lives. You
Mm-hmm.
know, once you
Yeah.
stop that mind chatter, people can connect with who they really are instead of the angry person or the frustrated person or the stressed out person. They can be the inner person, the diamond self.
Really interesting, really interesting. And so is it considered a meditative practice in itself, the singing bowls? And because I think because I do meditation as well, it takes certain time and effort to get into that zone, and the peace of mind, it comes after months and years of practice. So how much time does it take, and what has been your experience with all the people that you have trained?
Well, what the bowls taught me is kind of a modern approach on meditation. And it was revealed to me 70 different ways to meditate with your singing bowls. And I put the 70 different ways into singing bowl meditation cards because I thought it'd be fun for people to draw a card and say, oh, I'm going to meditate with my bowl this way today. So rather than a set protocol or recipe or prescription, I look at the bowls as being constant little Zen teachers. they, they're here. You can bring your problems to the bowl. You can just sit for 2 minutes with the bowl and tap and listen to it. But I've got some ideas for meditation. If you want me to show you a few different
Please,
ideas,
yes.
okay. So one of them, you've got to hold the bowl in a flat palm because the minute you curl your fingers around it, it dampens the sound. So a flat palm, and ignite the singing bowl just with a little tap and follow that sound into silence. It just takes a couple of minutes. And then you can set the bowl down if you want to and proceed with your own meditation, or you can move on to something else. So another fun way to use the bowl is breathe in the sound. So tap the bowl and imagine breathing in the sound, breathing in the vibration, taking it deep into the self and really expanding. Another way to meditate with the bowl is sound in motion, where you tap the bowl and move the bowl from side to side. Now, with your eyes closed, this is fascinating for the brain. The brain is following the sound as it travels back and forth. It's balancing both sides of the brain. You've got the vibration going down your arm, and you're hearing the bowl in all of its beauty, bringing you into the present moment and stopping the mind chatter, which is meditation. You can invert the bowl on a flat fist, like that. And playing the bowl like a bell, like this, brings out all the lower tones of the bowl. So they're rich and full and lots of resonance. And so sometimes I'll just find an easy chair and prop my arm on the easy chair and just sit there and listen, totally relaxed, clearing the upper chakras, all of that stuff. You can, in a seated position, you can set the bowl on your knees and give it a good gong, feeling those grounding vibrations going down the shins and into the ground. That's a nice meditation. If you've been on your feet all day, put the bowl on your toes and give it a good gong and feel that vibration. Another way to use the bowl in meditation is to bring a problem to the bowl. Maybe you've had a bad day. Maybe somebody made you mad. Put their name on a little piece of paper, just as a little ritual. Put it in the bowl and sing the bowl counterclockwise. Counterclockwise is the direction of release. So as you're focusing on singing the bowl and going counterclockwise, you're also focusing on the release. Then go clockwise and impart. I mean, you've created a new space. Now that you've released this negativity, you've created a new space for something. Play your bowl clockwise and impart something positive into that space, whether it's peace or understanding or forgiveness. So it becomes an actual tool to help you with your meditation. What do you think of
What
that?
No, quite interesting. The meditation is a practice that takes time, and definitely the power of the sound that you have been talking about is one of the key elements over there as well, I believe. Because if you look at all the cultures across the globe now, meditation has always been associated by rhyming something or singing out a mantra. For example, Om is one that creates a vibration inside you. Again, that's the way to generate it naturally. Secondly, what we see is that the temple thing that I told you about, and then there's lots and lots in Zen and Buddhism as well. I totally believe that the sound is one way, and once you bring in these bowls, that brings in the interesting perspective of how we can use the nature as well to generate that vibration and sound, and get into that calm place. The thing that I wanted to ask you is, you know, uh, do your patients and all the not the patients who are the practitioners of this particular meditation, uh, you know, my the internet is quite shaky, isn't it?
No,
It's not that clear.
it's good.
Is it okay? Okay, great. So the thing that I wanted to ask is the practitioners who have been working with you, um, do they feel the change, or after they have completed their meditative practice, does the after effect stay for a long, or the mind just goes back to wandering and back to square one?
Well, that's a good question. It's just kind of depending on the individual and how dedicated they are to making a change, if that's something they'd like to do. What makes my teaching different is that it's not about the recipes and the protocols. It's about teaching basic skills and then saying, you take the bowl now and integrate it into what you do best. Integrate it into your kind of meditation or your healing practice if you're a practitioner of some kind. Take the bowl and with these techniques, integrate it and let it manifest in your way. Okay? So I'm not the one that's the expert, I'm not the one that's right. Let the bowl be the teacher, which is significant because a lot of people say, oh, spoon feed me. I need to know exactly how to. No, I'm gonna hand the bowl to you and let you take the bowl and run with it because that's how it's it's made to relate to who you are on your human level.
Hmm. Superb. That's really interesting. How long have you been doing this, Anne? Just curious.
About 10 years.
Wow.
So
So,
not that long, but
any interesting stories? Any interesting stories that your students would have come back to you with their practice and told you that it has changed their life or something?
uh, yeah, yeah, a couple of interesting stories. Children really relate to the singing bowls. And
Hmm.
here in the States, ADHD and ADD, you've heard of those,
Right. Yes.
where children are,
Disorder.
yeah, they're distracted, maybe a little wild, they can't focus. And a mother brought her 6-year-old into my practice one day and said, what can the singing bowls do for ADD, ADHD? And the answer was a lot. It can
Hmm.
do a lot because when you think about it, you are calming that terrible mind chatter that's all consuming for this child. So I let the child pick out their own bowl, a bowl that they could relate to, taught them how to hold it and tap it and follow the sound into silence. And it was an amazing experience. Same with special needs kids. I donated some bowls to a special needs school, children that are just kind of
Yeah.
out of
Understood.
control
Yeah.
in many ways. They're physically out of control as well as mentally. And they would take these big singing bowls and put them on the bellies of children that were lying on the floor, give it a good gong, and these children just relaxed and smiled. Oh my gosh, there is so much untapped mystery in these bowls.
Mhm.
I've
Yeah.
worked with people with cancer, people with lots of pain in their bodies, and the bowls really help send a new message to the brain. So rather than the pain signal going to the mind, you have this new signal that says, "Oh, vibration, oh, sound." And so for a moment, they can detach from their painful presence and go into an altered state that doesn't involve pain. So, yeah, I got tons of stories for you.
Yeah. That's quite interesting. Give me a second, please. I believe my internet is acting up, or I don't know what's happening over here. But your video is quite shaky over here, and I'm trying to fix it with an alternate connection. Let's try this.
Okay, you froze. There you are.
Yes, yes. I just I've tried an alternate connection to see if the video quality improves. Is my video coming there clear, or is
Yes.
it shaky? Oh,
No, very clear.
then I believe it's yeah, yours improved a little bit. Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's shaky.
No, 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 don't be. It's all technical things, so it doesn't matter. So coming back to we're almost half an hour into this podcast, and the attention span of people is roughly around half an hour. And so, because in my podcast, what I people tend to drop off the podcast roughly around half an hour time, so they tend to stick for 30 minutes or so. In the closing words, and it's really fascinating work that you are doing, and bringing in the power of sound to heal, and bringing in with the meditation. Any passing thoughts, or some wisdom words that you would like to tell the audience over here, into if they want to start this practice, or if they want to culminate this power of sound and using the bowls. How should they start? What is the starting point, and what would be your advice to the listeners?
Well, I would love to help them start if that's something that they were seeking. And right now, I've got 9 different classes on Udemy, making my teachings very affordable and really fun. So I would hope that they might pursue some classes in singing bowls, lay a foundation, and then take the bowl and run with it. So
Right.
I've got a nice singing bowl foundations course. Yeah, fundamentals is what it's called, with fun
Hmm.
capitalized. So it is really fun using singing bowls, and it gives them everything they need to know. And then from there, they can branch out into healing work or into different types of meditation with the singing bowls. So I'd love to see them in class. India is actually my second largest draw. So United States, India, I have 67 different countries and 22 different languages. It's just so thrilling to me to think
Wow.
that people are finally finding out about the singing bowls and how they can change lives.
It is just fantastic work that you are doing, and somehow, I believe in belief as well. Our ancestors and the religions had already figured all this power out. They already knew the science. But as we are progressing towards the new age, we tend to lose the focus towards the fundamental or the purity of those religious thoughts and the techniques and scientific findings that they already had. But soon this revolution of mindfulness and the sound and the meditation, which is going to become cool slowly, and when it becomes cool, everyone is going to do it. Similar to what happened to yoga, isn't it?
Yes, 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 indeed.
Yeah. So with that, and I would like to close this podcast with you with closing remarks that the sound is extremely powerful, and with practitioners like Anne and others out there, the the true nature of these meditative practices is going out there. And if I would urge all my listeners, if you're interested in such a technique, Anne is available there on Facebook as well as on the Udemy courses. You can choose her, pick her, and learn more from her. And and any closing remarks?
I've got a lot of free meditations on Facebook, so get on there. I've got my website. There's a lot of free meditations on there. That's a nice introduction. And gosh, the more you use the bowl, the more you can improve your life. I think bowls for everybody. They're here to help the human condition.
Great. It was pleasure talking to you, Anne.
Oh,
We got to learn a lot, and thank you for coming to Thinking Psychologist.
I'm so honored. Thank you so much.
Right. Bye.
Bye bye.
I'm I'm just gonna stop the recording now.